Hey everyone and welcome back. Today I'm going to be filming a book haul. I actually have a lot more books that I have hauled that I want to film, I guess. But I'm not going to do that all today just because I think there are too many books and I'm probably just going to split up into another video. So there are a couple of books in here, I say a couple, more than a couple, books in here that I got from an event that I went to. So I work for a publishing company, and the publishing company I work for has many divisions, and I got these books from some of the divisions that are underneath the publishing company I work from. So I guess that's my sort of like disclosure alert. These books were free, but I don't work on any of these books. But I was able to get a whole bunch of free books, and so I'm going to go through this video and talk about them, and just when it's that book I will say, so just so you know. The first book I'm going to talk about, I feel like I'm being quite apt with my glass of red wine. It's a Friday, it's the end of the week, I'm allowed a glass of red wine. But the book I'm going to speak about is Why Mummy Doesn't Give a Fuck. And I think this book is actually part of a series, maybe. I don't think it's a series, it's more like they're all standalone books, but I'm pretty sure there's another book of this which is in blue or something like that. I'm sure it's not the paperback version of this, it's something else to do with this. From what I know about this book, and I feel like I might not enjoy it, but I just wanted to pick it up and see, just hit myself in the face there. It's essentially the author, what's her name, Gill Sims, being, I guess, really frank and brash and honest about like motherhood, and just, you know, being very sweary, probably very drinky, and, you know, just talking about the fact that motherhood isn't all it's cracked up to be, but in a very humorous way. I feel like it's very like middle class, but I could be wrong. I don't know anything about the author, but this one, it says here, it's a diary entry, and it says, I'm wondering how many more phases I have to endure before my children become civilized and functioning members of society. It seems like people have been telling me it's a phase for the last bloody 15 years. Not sleeping through the night is just a phase. Potty training and associated accidents are just a phase. The tantrums of terrible twos are just a phase. And yeah, she just goes on and on and on. So I assume, actually, now that I think about it, the first book is about her kids, like when they were actually kids, when they were babies and toddlers, and it seems now that they have grown up. So that's all I know about it. I probably won't get around to this book soon, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm intrigued to pick it up and just see what it's like. And I started off and completely forgot, this is one of the books that I got from that event. The next book I got is this again is a free book, but not from that event, because we work for publishers. Obviously we get books sent to the office and we can just pick them up because they're published by the office. And this is called Diversity, How to Challenge Inequality and Why We Should, by June Sarpong. I've heard of June Sarpong so much, and I know it's because she is in the media, maybe BBC or something like that. I just can't put my finger on it. But this book is talking about diversity, so in terms of including women, ethnic minorities, those living with disabilities, and the LGBTQ+ community. And it says here, uncovering the hidden cost of exclusion. It proves how a new approach to how we learn, live, and do business can solve some of the most stubborn challenges we face. Including unshakable case studies, research from Oxford University, interesting, and 6 revolutionary steps to help you overcome unconscious bias. This book will help you become part of a better society. Interesting, and I'm sorry if you can hear the background noise, it's the washing machine going off, but I want to film now. The next book is also another book that I got from that event, and I really have no idea what this book is about, but it was in the Christian section, like the sort of Christian section of the publishing, and it's called Love Does by Goff. And it says here, as a college student, he spent his days in the Pacific Ocean with 5 guys and a crate of canned meat. As a father, he took his kids on a world tour to eat ice cream with heads of state. He made friends in Uganda, and they liked him so much he became the Ugandan consul. He pursued his wife for 3 years before she agreed to date him. Flag. His grades weren't good enough to get into law school, so he sat on a bench outside the dean's office for 7 days until they finally let him enroll. Privilege. Bob Goff has become something of a legend, and his friends consider him the world's best secret. What is this book actually about? Okay, so what fuels his impact? Love. But it's not the kind of love that stops at thought and feelings. Bob is convinced that love takes action. Bob believes love does. This is super interesting because as I'm reading more of the back, there is no mention of religion, but I'm sure there's obviously religion weaved into this. So yes, it seems this is about Bob himself, and from what I'm reading, his very privileged life. But it might just also be quite spiritual, but we'll see. The next book I'm going to speak about is this, and it is called Postscript. You can't see it on the front because this is a proof copy, and again this is a book from that event. This is the follow-up to P.S. I Love You. I don't think I've ever actually read P.S. I Love You. I've watched the film several times, loved the film, and so this is being published in September 2019, and it says here, now it's P.S. I Love You, touch the hearts of millions. Now it's time for Holly to start a new chapter. So I'm sure it does what it says on the back. It's obviously we're following Holly after she has sort of, I think in P.S. I Love You it is the 12 months after the death of her husband, so every single month he is sending her a recording or something and some sort of surprise or something to help develop her life or something like that. So this must be the year after and there are no more. Oh, this is interesting. It says, when a group inspired by Jerry's letters calling themselves the P.S. I Love You Club approach Holly to ask for help, she finds herself drawn back into a world she worked so hard to leave behind. Reluctantly, Holly begins a relationship with the club, even as their friendship threatens to destroy the peace she believes she achieved. That's so interesting. So I guess we're looking at sort of maybe Holly sort of helping other people deal with their grief and pass on with their life. I don't know. Again, not sure when I'll pick this up, but I kind of like the direction that it's taken. I thought it'd be like a year directly after and then I'd be like, no, we don't need that. The next book is this one, When I Had a Little Sister by Catherine Simpson, and she actually came and spoke at the event about this book. So again, a book from that event. And this is a book about suicide, so I assume it's going to be a very harrowing book, and it's one I'm definitely going to read this year because I just feel like I need to. So Catherine's sister was found dead when she was 46. It says Trisha was 46 and had been stalked by depression all her life. Yet mental illness was a taboo subject within the family. Although love was never lacking, there was silence at his heart. After Trisha died, Catherine found she had kept a lifetime of diaries. The words in them took them back to a past they had shared but experienced so differently, and offered a thread to help explore the labyrinth of her sister's suicide. So it's a memoir, and Catherine herself is from Lancashire. She grew up in a farm, her and her sister grew up in a farm, and yeah, she's just, I guess, recounting her life, her sister's life, and what it took for them to get to that point. I'm very intrigued by this. I don't know how I feel about the diary reading. I have kept diaries since I wouldn't say since I could write, but I don't think that's true. And now I don't write in my diary so much, but oh god, I couldn't stand the thought of anyone reading my diary. Like, I don't care if I have passed, like, those are thoughts that I would never speak to anyone, or if I have spoken them, I've spoken to certain people. So this is interesting, but it's definitely one I'm going to read this year because it deals with mental health, and I just think it's important. I like reading books about that. The next book is this, The ABC Murders by Agatha Christie. This book reminds me of Pauline from Dancing Lawn because I know she loves Agatha Christie. Honestly, I just picked this up because the cover is stunning. So this must be part of a collection that they're releasing, maybe for Agatha Christie books or for other books in that range. Again, this is from the event that I went to. There is nothing on the back about this book, but I googled it and it features Perroy. I don't know how to say that. I've been saying it wrong for so long. I do remember when I first came to Scotland, I say first, it was probably like the second week of being at uni or something like that, or the first week because I missed the second week. And one of the Pyro versions were on TV, and I really, really enjoyed it. And then I remember mentioning it to someone and they were just like, you're saying the name wrong. And they told me how to say it, but I've completely forgotten now. But it features him and two other detectives, and they are searching for a murderer who goes by the initials, I think, ABC. So, of course, if you know what Agatha Christie's work is like, it's a detective novel, and yeah, I'll catch up on that. This will definitely be a book that I think I'll read this year, just because the cover is so nice, like I want to read it. This is the front, obviously, and then we have the back with a sort of like bronze foiling. Stunning. Next is a book that I purchased myself, yay, and this is called White Rage, The Unspoken Truth of Our Racial Divide. I picked this up because I'm pretty sure Mercedes from Mercy's Bookish Musing talks about this, and also it fits my goal of reading an essay collection. I do want to try and stay away from things that are to do with the race that are about the US, not for any other reason than obviously I live in the UK and I don't think there's that much content that I know, that I'm aware of anyway, that is focused on the UK, and you know, ever since reading Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race, I'm very aware of the fact that there isn't that much out there. But anyway, I picked this up because it sounded interesting. This is by Carol Anderson, and it says here on the back, since 1865 and the passage of the 13th Amendment, every time African Americans have made advances towards full participation in our democracy, white reaction has fueled a deliberate, relentless rollback of any gains. Carefully linking historical flashpoints from the post-Civil War Black codes to expressions of white rage after the election of America's first president, Anderson renders visible the long lineage of white rage and the different names under which it hides. That is so cool. The different names it hides. So I assume what this is going to be is obviously a study of how, yes, white rage is sort of expressed, and I guess how they're trying to disguise what is basically bottom line racism with other things. And I feel like that happens a lot. That happens so much, like even this week, like the Home Office releasing their bloody chicken box thing to do with knife crimes, like so bloody, I want to say tinged with racism, but it's soaked with racism. And it's just like, when people express outrage about it, they're like, but no, it can't be racist. And it's just like, you were targeting certain groups of people, certain ethnic minorities. Anyway, I'm going off track completely, but I feel like this will be very interesting. Obviously it's going to be based in the US, so I feel like I'm going to be a bit like distant from it. The next book I'm going to speak about is this. It's called Unladylike, and I was actually sent this by Heather, and I agreed to review it because I think it sounds brilliant. And I mentioned this to my boyfriend and he was like, that sounds awesome. It sounds so good, and I'm definitely going to get around to reading it this year. So Heather is a wrestler, and look at that amazing cover. Just how nice is that cover? I'm not sure who published this. Unbound published this, okay. And I'm going to read you the back, just because there's no way I could ever encompass what this book is about without doing that. In the world of Heather Honey Badger, aka Rana Venosa, there are no steroids, no tans, no $1 million contracts. There is only Lycra, a sweaty underground club, and an unbreakable resilience. From the day that Heather steps into the ring of the punk wrestling school Lucha Britannia, she finds herself transformed into a person she never knew she could be. How do you become a wrestler when you hate sports so much you can't do a press-up? What makes feminists and wrestlers both mortal enemies and unlikely best friends? For the first time, an independent female wrestler talks in depth about how she went from a sad, lost riot girl to an empowered, persevering fighter who has performed across the world. How good does that sound? Like, amazing. I can't wait to read this. I really can't. I'm just gutted I haven't got around to it already because I think I was sent this quite a while ago, but I'm definitely going to review it because I think it sounds brilliant. Another book that I was sent by the author, and this is by Florence Wetzel, is The Grand Man, a Scandinavian thriller. This is a very interesting book because it is a Scandi, I guess, noir thriller. It talks about an American, she interviews an American jazz singer, but she is in Sweden, and then she gets unravelled in a sort of, I guess, thriller mystery of her own. But it also manages to tie in the character from Stieg Larsson's The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series. So it says here, when one of Juliet's new friends is murdered, she finds herself embroiled in a real-life Swedish mystery. Journalist Magnus Lindblom offers to help Juliet despite his own struggles, which includes hiding the truth about Stieg Larsson's missing 4th book. So it's like a world within a world. I don't know, like, it's really weird because I know there were some, I guess not, I don't know if it's weird things around Stieg Larsson's death, but obviously he was writing a book, like a mystery thriller book, and then he died under suspicious circumstances. I don't know if that's still true now, but I remember reading about it and thinking that's kind of weird. So I know the 4th book was written by someone else. Have I read the 4th book? I don't know. But yeah, so it's like real life blended with fiction and then more fiction. I don't know, but this sounds really good, and definitely going to get around to reading it this year because I haven't read any sort of thrillers or Scandi noir thrillers this year anyway. I probably have read a thriller this year, I just can't remember. I dip in and out of thrillers. Another book that I picked up at that event, which I'm definitely going to read this year because I'm in the mood for like Stella Newman books, and this reminds me of that, but this is called One More Croissant for the Road by Felicity Cloake. This book is essentially about a woman who decides to cycle around France, stopping in like all the villages and cities and towns, and trying different foods. Let me just check that I have actually got that right. Yes, part travelogue, part food memoir, a love letter to France, follows the nation's taster-in-chief on her very own tour de France as she cycles across France in search of culinary perfection, from tarte tatin to cassoulet via poulet à pot. Wow, my French is awful. My French friend would kill me if she heard me speaking like this. But anyway, to conclude each of her 21 stages, Felicity puts her newfound knowledge to good use in a definitive recipe for each dish. The culmination of her rigorous investigative work on behalf of all our taste buds. And that's amazing. I didn't know there was going to be recipes in here. Anyway, books like this are right up my street. When I fancy a light read, it's books like this that I love. Like books about women exploring things, and if it happens to be food, excellent. Can't say I'm really into cycling, but who knows. I mean, I could probably try and cycle like Italy. Italy is a huge country, but I could do it because I'd be cycling and eating and I'd be burning off all those calories, so I could do it. Another book I'm going to speak about is Slay in Your Lane. This book has been everywhere. I won't say it was this year, it's probably like last year. Just my nails. But again, this is a book that I got from that event, and so brilliant. So it says, this honest and provocative book recognises and celebrates the strides black women have already made while providing practical advice for those who want to do the same and forge a better visible future. So the two ladies who wrote this book, I know they're quite successful in the careers that they are in, and they interview other women who are successful in those careers. So I think it's mainly like very corporate careers. It's meant to be an inspiration for black women who want to go into these careers, and just, I guess, giving them advice, sharing their wisdom, you know, just sharing little things that they've learned as well. What I love about this is in the middle of it, it shows you pictures of all these ladies. I guess one of the things I really do like about this is that it's UK focused. I know that just sounds like what, but obviously growing up in the UK, growing up in London, you want to hear about people who at least understand the corporate scene that you might be in. I never ever planned to like get on the corporate ladder or anything like that. I have worked in very corporate places, and I guess a book like this would have been very useful just so that I knew what to expect. But I think this book is more of a, like, it covers so many different career paths, because there's a lady in here called Clara Amafo. I can't remember if that's actually her name, but I'm pretty sure she's like a TV presenter or a DJ. But basically it's documenting women at the sort of top of their field, and how they came to be in those places. Another book that I'm going to show, I'm not sure how well the lighting is, it's getting a bit dark in here now, it's going to rain, it's already raining, welcome to Scotland at all times. Anyway, this book is so cute, A Little Book of Sloth Philosophy, How to Live Your Best Sloth Life. That's just me. Like, I'm one of those people that's productive in really short bursts. When I want to do something, I focus all my energy on it and then I do it. But then other than that, like, I just want to lie down and relax. But anyway, this book, I assume, is just going to be a sort of little random guide of how to live your best sloth life, but let's see what it says here. Sloths are mindfulness in action, contemplative, deliberate, relaxed and focused. They resist the rat race and the incessant pressure from society to be more productive, and they don't care how many steps they've logged on their fitness tracker. That's funny. In this book, you can enjoy Take It Slow wisdom inspired by sloths, including advice on sleep, eating and exercise, work, family, life and love. Also, the back says a really nice thing. So relax, unwind and soak up the wisdom of the sloth with the slowest page turner you've ever read. So this is obviously a book that's just, you know, a bit of a novelty gift that you give to people, like, because you think it's funny. But I think it will be cute. I just thought that there was a little quiz in there, and you never know, I might learn something to improve my slothfulness, or that just makes my life better. I don't know, we'll see. That is it for my book haul today. Please let me know if any of these books have piqued your interest. I'd love to talk to you about any of them. And yeah, I will see you in my next